Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, September 8th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card, we are starting our day off with the moon. I was waiting for, I gotta tell you, I was waiting for this card today. This card has been on the top of my mind all day. I'm not surprised we're starting with it. I really want to know where Pluto is right now. There's a lot of deep diving that's occurring right now as it relates to circumstances or situations, but I have to stress this deep diving is allowing for breakthrough points. I got to tell you, this shadow period, what did I say? This shadow period is hitting harder in some ways than the retrograde itself did. This was a very still retrograde. It was helping us work through pathwork of perseverance and patience. So it wasn't like real shakeup. You may be saying, like, why is the shaking up happening now? I thought the retrograde was over. Because what we're seeing is happening is all of that stillness requiring you not to take things energetically personally. What happens when you don't take things energetically personally? You find that ego and you just shove it to the side. You just knock it over. You move it out of the way to a certain extent. So now we have a lot of this vulnerability that's coming to the surface, and now everything's starting to move back into synchronicity. Everything's starting to pick up speed. Thank you for that gift. And so a lot of this now, like that shadow of the past that is looming over, that is so conveniently often appears after these retrograde periods. This is all about optics. This is all about the gift of your own perception. Because if you navigated through that Mercury retrograde and you moved all that pride out of the way, well, guess what? You may be having a lot of experiences from the past coming back forward. But what's happening here? You might have a lot more humility now. You may be looking at things without the pride creating that veil over something, right? So a lot of that clarity here, this is the clarity in re-reviewing the mystery of the past to a certain extent, but with new eyes, happening across all of the frequencies right now. It's having a different impact. Masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, a lot of this has to do with that pathwork of patience and perseverance that we've spoken about, right? Because when you move on the pathwork of patience and perseverance, finding your own purpose, it's like you're moving towards your own mystery, right? So this is a lot of that work that we see that's being navigated right now, because a lot of that energy is stepping forward in ways that they haven't before, taking a bit of that wait and see approach. But this is the energy that's not moving forward in that way, expecting or anticipating what will come of it. Rather, there may be a little bit of this energy that's moving forward in this way, because when we move on that pathwork of purpose, we allow that energetic purpose to guide us. And sometimes when we move forward in that way and we let that energetic purpose guide us, it feels like we're kind of operating or moving forward without guardrails, trusting in the process, trusting or putting our faith in the process. So we see even now a lot of that energy deep within divine union is trusting the process. What is the energy coming into divine union doing right now? We just spoke about this. The energy coming into divine union is learning how to trust again. They're learning to trust the process. For a lot of that energy, if these were experiences in the past where the energy told themselves, well, I guess my lesson going forward is I'll just never trust again. This is the energy that is re-correcting some of that past experience or those past lessons, because this is the energy that recognizes that trust is not a failure point. Trust is a moment or modality of great strength. But I have to stress here, this is the trust that we build after initial trust is broken, right? Because we see even here that for a lot of that energy coming into divine union, something about one's own trust being broken at a time in the past, wherein someone asked for that trust but didn't necessarily give that evidence and being willing to earn it. That ability of navigating forward from that space and now seeing something with more clarity. This is the energy that's not blindly trusting, but rather this is the energy that is getting into that true, hard, heavy trust. The trust that doesn't move forward blindly, the trust that puts their blind faith into trust via the trust that they're building with the energetic counterpart. And that's difficult work. That's hard work. That is work that unpacks. Like there's a lot of that processing that we see is occurring right now for energy coming into divine union. Because I told you even now, the clarity that you're potentially receiving in building trust with another in an authentic way, building upon, again, consistency, patience. From masculine, we see from the feminine observing potentially a high level or degree of fastidiousness, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine, working through a lot of those processes in the past where now they may be observing the difference between the energy of the masculine that demands trust but doesn't necessarily earn it, while working now with the masculine that is like giving forth in the same way that you yourself are giving forth. These are the energies that are repairing, they're building their trust between one another. And what are they doing in the process of building trust between one another? They're restoring their faith in trust as a whole in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is energy. And I told you even now, we saw a little bit of ferocity that was coming through for some energy in separation. Because if these were modalities where, again, a potential counterpart came forward and there was a lot of expression of emotionality, but not much clarity as to what the future held, or an inability to articulate upon what their aspirations were for the future, we see a lot of energy moving forward right now. And even in that modality of moving forward, it feels like, again, this is the energy that is not just moving towards an energetic connection and saying, I'm manifesting any type of energetic connection. This is the energy that is reaffirming in their own commitment and moving towards the unknown and saying to themselves that to enter an energetic commitment where there's the expression of emotionality, but not the clarity as to what the future holds. This is almost the energy that's working through that mantra of saying to themselves, you know, you can be in partnership and still feel entirely alone. Thank you for that beautiful gift, because that experience, what do we build in relationship? What is the healing balm that a relationship brings to us? It is trusting in the faith and the dream that we build forth with another energetic counterpart. So for a lot of this energy, this is the energy that's almost moving away from a relationship possibility that feels like they would have to exist in it blind, not being able to see what leads forward. And this is the energy that says that's the same thing as not being in an energetic connection, because that's the energy that says that the commitment that we create for one another is the clarity, is the consistency. It is the ability to light the path forward for one another where the love truly shines. And so a lot of energy is holding on to that as they move forward in separation and looking for energy that feels same. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is, we've got here 4 of Cups in its reversal. So one of the things that we see that is occurring right now for so much of this energy that is like moving in separation, this is a little bit of double down energy right now. This is, I gotta say, and this is why there's so much energy here in separation, which may be feeling like a bit like the feminine energy. I want to say masculine's feeling a bit more taking a different take on things. Feminine's feeling a little bit more audacious. This is feminine energy that is being mindful but not demure, because this is the feminine energy that is effectively articulating and almost looking towards the universe and saying, did I stutter? Like, this is the energy of the feminine going, did I stutter? Because we see even here that if this is feminine energy that had masculine coming towards them, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, that is like articulating all the care, all the desire, all the emotionality, but feminine's going, but what's the manifestation goal? What's the manifestation goal? Masculine's going, but I care about you so much. And feminine's going, I recognize that there's a world where you can care about me, but not have a manifestation goal that you want to build forth towards. So we see even now, this is the feminine energy that is moving forward into the unknown, but they've got a flashlight. And what's that flashlight? It's the manifestation goal. It's the manifestation goal that the feminine is holding forward ahead of them saying, I'll know it when I see it. And that's the feminine that almost like just navigated a circumstance or situation that would have potentially felt like it was bringing them into a space of energetic distraction. Because if this is the feminine that said, here's my manifestation goal, where's your manifestation goal, and the masculine wasn't able to bring it forth, this is feminine energy going, thank you, manifestation goal, you just helped me a lot, and continuing forward with it. While for masculine energy right now, this is a lot of this masculine energy in separation that is also going through same. Because if this was masculine energy, and I got to tell you right now, if this is masculine energy that's gone through the trouble, this is where like masculine energy that's gone through the trouble of doing the deep diving into their own soul to be able to figure out how they energetically feel and also articulate what they want with feminine. And if they brought that forward to feminine and feminine was like, I got to think about it, I'm not 100% sure. This is the masculine that is recognizing and identifying to a certain extent and saying, I want feminine energy to desire the same things that I myself want. I want the feminine energy that operates in that space of identifying their own manifestation goals in kind. So we see even now that these energies in separation, they're moving forward. The manifestation goal is their flashlight, and they're coming upon one another. They're moving towards one another in that space of the unknown. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is the energy that is healing the trust process. That's all I keep getting the last few days. The trust process for a lot of energy coming into divine union right now is being healed. And how is it being healed? And this is why it's a painful healing process. I'm just going to be honest. There's a lot of energy right now coming into divine union. I can almost see it. It's giving me a lot of laughing and sobbing. It's giving me a lot of like laughing and sobbing, like flipping back and forth between the two. Because if these are energetic connections wherein, again, the observation of feeling the sense or recognizing what it feels like to build trust with someone. And there were experiences in the past where, again, I almost see potentially someone who demanded trust but then decided to depart because they said that trust wasn't just freely given. This is the energy that's getting clarification, and they're healing both the past and the present coming into divine union, because the present is giving clarity to that past experience, but it's almost moving that past experience into an energetic lesson in the process. So that's why we keep getting this sense of elation and devastation, because this is the light of the present that is shining a light on the past mystery. And in that modality, it can be very devastating, even as it is feeling very uplifting. Masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union right now. This is a lot of pathwork of perseverance. This is one foot in front of the other. This is like continuing forward and not getting energetically distracted. Masculine, I keep telling you the difference that I'm seeing here is masculine being very diverse right now, being very expansive. Feminine being very energetically focused, which is interesting because those are energies that are doing something that is less than characteristic of them. But this is more of a reflection of how these energies are learning from one another because they're taking pages from each other's books. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, look at this, progress. We like seeing this right now. This is that rapidity that we see is starting to come to the fold right now that we've got this retrograde shadow. It's hitting different. I know. It's hitting different this time. Things are starting to pick up speed. The thing is, all of that, I want to say, I feel like a lot of this retrograde that we went through was don't get too comfortable, because this is the energy that just started experiencing or getting accustomed to that slowing down. For masculine, building into that pathwork of patience, feminine building into that pathwork of perseverance, and then suddenly things are starting to move at a faster clip. So this is the energy that's that's got to kind of do that same work, in a way, the work that they were teaching themselves to do during the retrograde, but now it's starting to pick up speed in a way. And that's why it may be feeling a little vulnerable, but it's building. I keep getting building new habits, building new practices, doing things in different ways, and now building into the sense of kind of building that energetic spiritual muscle memory. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now. This is brick by brick by brick by brick by brick. This is just the trust. This is the trust process Every day it's picking up speed. Every day it's getting stronger, because I told you, if these are energies that have aligned in terms of manifestation goals and the feelings, and now there's that anxiety of the shadow of the past saying you can't trust, and the energy going to you, like, no, like arguing against the past to a certain extent. This is the energy that is having the breakthrough, because this is the energy that's like moving forward, and they're not letting the pathwork of assumption create that sense of fear where they're too afraid to trust. This is the energy that has the audacity to trust again. And in that audacity is there healing. Because this is the energy that's saying, I'm not only moving towards you because I care for you, I am risking, like I am taking that great risk. I am throwing myself forward. And this is the trust that becomes the trust fall in these energies, building that sense of consistency. It's like, again, it's like the moving of wings, right? As opposed to like that energy that was like asking for trust, like a ball being thrown at them. Continuing to get clarification for the energy in separation. Neither wind, nor rain, nor dark of night will stop the energy in separation from moving towards their manifestation goals. Is all I'm really seeing right now. There's a lot of energy right now in separation, and I feel like just looking at the universe going, did I stutter? Like close but no cigar, because this is some of the energy that recognizes and realizes that sometimes when we start moving towards our manifestation goals, we can navigate spaces of something that feels very close to it, but it's not exactly there. So we see even now, like this is the energy that's recognizing and utilizing that pathwork of navigating and assessing what just energetically occurred and allowing it to refine their own manifestation goal, because this is the energy that understands and recognizes the difference between something that could look a lot like their manifestation goal on the outside, but doesn't necessarily match what it feels like on the inside. So we see even now like a lot of that work that's happening right now and I got to tell you, this is the energy that if they're feeling frustrated instead of devastated, this is why we see that this is the energy healing and having breakthroughs and moving towards their manifestation goals. Because this is the energy that may be looking at something and saying, if this had happened to me 8 months ago, would have been energetically devastated. That modality of being able to brush something off, not overly internalizing an external problem and thanking the past, because that past, whatever it was, no matter how bad it was, suddenly shining a light in a way and being like, wow, that past experience just saved me a lot of effort in terms of going down that road, because this is the energy that caught those, like saw those energetic hallmarks of those lessons and said, no, thank you. I'm sticking towards my manifestation goals. So we see even now, this is a lot of energy moving forward right now. And I want to say the speed through which it's moving in separation, this is that uptick coming out of the retrograde period. 4th card in our 5-card spread, because I see a lot of communication here. I see a lot of plans. I see a lot of movement right now for energy and separation, because this is the energy. What creates movement? Everybody, what creates movement? Identifying where movement is not. Identifying where movement is not. This is not energy that is sticking around in a space where there isn't movement going, I hope that there's some movement here. This is the energy. This is the same lesson we saw a few weeks ago, the energy within divine union. What did we say was happening for the energy within divine union? The message is now coming towards the energy in separation. Don't be you can be practical. Don't take it personally. Be productive. This is the energy that's looking at those energetic connections. And again, there's a bit of a binary occurring. Is it there or is it not there? Is there process or is blockage? And this isn't the energy that's trying to go into the detective agency to figure out what the blockage is. This isn't the energy trying to get to the source, because this is the energy that's like, what's the point of finding out the why? It doesn't change the circumstances. Like I have to say, for a lot of energy right now, not getting curious. Like getting curious about one's own self and not worrying why someone else has an energetic blockage. This is what's helping a lot of the energy in separation, because this is the energy saying, why do I care what the energetic blockage is towards like why something isn't moving forward? Like recognizing and identifying it doesn't clear it. It just creates like what? Peace of mind to move forward. This is the energy saying it just wastes the energetic. It's like the energy going I'm getting unnecessary side quest. Like it's an unnecessary side quest. Because understanding the reason why something isn't moving someone towards your manifestation goal doesn't move them towards it. It might feel energetically cathartic. It might feel validating, but I told you this is energy in separation that's moving pride aside. Pride demands an explanation. Vulnerability says, I guess I'll never know, and is okay with that, and says, I got other stuff to do, and moves forward to a certain extent. So we see even now that for a lot of this energy, simply having that kind of breakthrough, and I want to say having a like a lack of, I don't want to say, it's not a lack of care, as it were, but like c'est la vie kind of approach to things, like being able to take something lightly, you know what I mean? Not agonizing on it, not like trying to, not overly internalizing it, just accepting and moving on. This is what's allowing a lot of energy right now to move towards their manifestation goals, because that's the identification of saying, like, if something's not moving towards your manifestation goal, well, figuring out why. Do you have to really diagnose the reason? Like, does that help it? Does that fix the situation? Or does it just feel like it creates a sense of personal catharsis? So we see even now, this is the energy that's like, doesn't need that personal catharsis point to a certain extent. And I almost see here the only thing that's happening in separation is now whatever that energy, I can almost see the opposite is now happening, because now I see energy in separation that someone wasn't able to articulate the manifestation goal. And I told you we even saw this the other day. If this is energy where only at the time of someone departing from a situation is a manifestation goal being brought forth, this is a lot of energy that even there is like, no. This is the energy that recognizes the difference between a manifestation goal that's freely given versus a manifestation goal that comes forward after someone sees the reactivity point that occurs if one is not brought forth. So that's why we see even now there could be some energy that's going through some scenarios, and we talked about this in our last reading, where only after someone is energetically departed is someone trying to say that they want the same things. And this is the energy saying there's a difference between saying that you want to move joyfully towards the same things versus suddenly realizing that if you don't say those things, there isn't any possibility of going forward, right? Like this is the energy that's almost identifying that as well. So again, I told you a lot of breakthroughs that are occurring right now for energy and separation. While for the energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy, like I'm telling you even now, do you see this? Like this is clarity to the mystery. This is movement forward and identifying back. This is why so much of the energy right now, I got to tell you right now, if you are coming into divine union and you feel like you are on a pendulum, if you feel like you are going back and forth and back and forth, this is because the energy, I can see it, is healing, like is actively healing something in the past, in the process of experiencing the clarifying point in the present. This is the needle that goes backwards, because this is the energetic equivalent of someone finally finding that thread and making an energetic connection in such a way that they can go back to something that caused a wound and is able now to heal it up, because they're like, oh, this is what was missing. Like the thread. This is the energy going, oh, I see the thread's here now. I can, like, I was needle. I can see someone being like, I was sewing without thread. While for masculine and feminine energy, that is coming into, that is deep within divine union, this is just the energy that's focused. This is focus. And I told you the only difference that I'm seeing here that's happening is masculine and feminine are doing the same work in different ways. Masculine, spreading seeds. Masculine, becoming expansive. Feminine, focusing, driving down, spearheading, mastheading, getting very focused on something. Masculine, expanding right now. Both of these energies doing the same thing. Both of these energies requiring them to move their pride aside in order to facilitate moving in this way, but both of them having breakthroughs in the process. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is 5 of Wands. This is why it is feeling, and this is the energy right now. And this is the benefit of that retrograde period, moving what did we see that was happening during that retrograde cycle? The pride, the energetic stillness that occurred during that retrograde, stinging and wounding the pride. As long as you aren't trying to protect your own pride, remembering that the egoic self is not there to be protected. It's there to protect the internal self. Being able to move the pride aside. This is the energy that is, allowing that modality of allowing their inner self to come forward. And so for masculine, this is almost, I see a lot of the masculine energy that's like not worrying about doing something for the first time, not worrying about stepping out of their comfort zone. This is a lot of that, that creative force, if you will, that we're seeing that's happening right now for masculine, because this is the masculine that feels like they've overcome their pride in order to be expansive in this way. For feminine, that focusing, that drilling down, that getting like laser focus. This is more of, again, the feminine, not worrying about, like, not thinking so much about the energy around them, like almost having to put blinders on and focus. This is also both of these energies doing something that feels outside of the comfort zone, but this is the breakthrough, because this is the breakthrough is doing something in a way that you haven't done it before, challenging yourself and getting over your own hurdle. Masculine and feminine's like, just get it done. Masculine is like, do everything. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union. This is why I just keep saying there's so much of this energy right now coming into divine union, letting out frustration, the release of frustration. This is energy that's been holding on to some pain for a long time right now. And if this is energy that is building back, that is starting to reawaken, the problem when you start to reawaken the trust process is like when you close down the trust process, you go numb. There's a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union. Something's waking up. The part of the self that had to shut down when the trust was broken is coming back to life. It's stirring its wings. And what happens when it stirs its wings? The feelings come back. So I see even now there's a lot of this energy that's starting to feel again. And some of those feelings are not necessarily, I mean, I told you the elation and the devastation, because so much of this energy here is feeling that happiness in terms of building and feeling that part of themselves coming back to life again. But there's potentially a lot of rage there. There's also like it's not just all joy. There's like a lot of other feelings that are opening up. There's a lot of other stuff in there. So there's a little bit of this energy that I'm seeing coming into divine union right now that's having a little bit of that like better out than in kind of stuff going on. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. This could be leading to some of that volatility that we talked about the other day. Because I'm telling you even now, if these are circumstances or situations where someone asked for a manifestation goal and all someone was doing was expressing the emotions, and someone asked for clarity, someone asked for clarification and said the emotions are not the articulation of a commitment, emotions are not commitment, emotions are not commitment, commitment is commitment. What's your manifestation goal? Bring it forth so we can see if we can have something that can create commitment. And if this is energy that could not do that, and then there was someone else who just walked away from something, and only at the moment that someone walked away is someone rushing forth with that manifestation goal, this is a lot of that energy that's recognizing the difference between a manifestation goal that is joyfully brought forth versus a manifestation goal that feels like a desperate attempt to pull someone back to where they were. So there's a lot of this energy here. This is why there's so much volatility, because this could be energy that's saying this doesn't feel like you articulating a manifestation goal at this time. Timing is one that makes it feel like you're trying to pull something back instead of push forward, because that's that moment that almost feels like, I told you, it's like someone like throwing a book at your head as you're walking out the door. It's like that's not the manifestation goal. That's not how it works. Getting clarification on these cards right now between our moon card and its upright and our 4 of cups and its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our King of Cups and its reversal. You can imagine how that could be very emotional. I told you we were seeing this masculine feeling very vulnerable at this time right now if this is occurring. Because if this was masculine energy that felt like they did all of this work on themselves to build that point of confidence, to be able to articulate to feminine both how they feel and what they desire. And if feminine wasn't able to meet them or was going like me, like wishy-washy, this is a lot of the masculine energy that's trying not to take that personally. This is more of the masculine energy that is reaffirming their own energetic commitment to themselves in saying that the ability to do that is never a failure point. That the ability to feel like you desire or aspire for a feminine that wants the same things as you and doesn't hem and haw on it or doesn't move from a place of like uncertainty. This is more of that masculine energy that's healing in that space of saying like, masculine's like, if I've done that work in determining what I want a feminine that also isn't hanging on to the past, right? Because a lot of this masculine energy just recognizes that often when they find the feminine that seems like they're unable to move forward, it's because the feminine is clinging too much to the past that they're hoping will come back to light. While from feminine energy, this is more anger. This is more the audacity, because if this is feminine energy that's navigating or working through a circumstance or situation where all masculine is doing is talking about how they feel, this is more of the feminine that's like holding that stop sign in front of the masculine and saying, your feelings are not commitment. Your feelings are feelings. Feelings are feelings are feelings until we're able to articulate what we dream to do with them. So this is a lot of the feminine energy that's almost saying to masculine, feminine's almost saying to masculine, if that's happening, I'm very used to the feminine saying to masculine, feminine's very used to masculine articulating upon what their feelings are. But if the masculine does not articulate what that dream is that they want with the feminine, then that's not a feminine that sees a masculine that desires to co-create with feminine. That's a feminine that sees masculine that more is like trying to hold feminine in place with the emotions instead of building forth towards something of energetic value. So this is a lot of that energy. I'm telling you even now, they're coming very close to coming into union, because both of these energies, you see, we have to move away from what's not for us to be able to find what is. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, a lot of this energy coming into divine union, this is why there might be a lot of emotions that are opening up right now. This is a lot of emotionality for the energy that's building back into their trust process, like learning to trust again. Because this is the energy that the ability to observe the past in a way that they couldn't before. And again, for feminine, it may be feeling more of like fire energy, because this is the feminine potentially. If this is masculine in the past that was not necessarily building with feminine from a point of trust, but almost demanding feminine's trust without doing anything in the same way that the feminine's now observing in terms of how trust is built, you can see how the feminine may be feeling very frustrated about that. While for masculine, if there was that feeling that no matter what you did in the past towards feminine, nothing felt like it was right or nothing felt like it was enough, this is a lot of the masculine energy that's healing from, again, feeling and seeing that consistency, finding that energetic equivalent of someone who's able to work with you in the same modality that's creating clarity on the past experiences in ways that you may not have seen before. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is more of that energy doing this healing, and it's in different ways. Masculine, building into that pathwork of purpose by moving the ego aside, allowing one's feelings to guide them. There's a lot of masculine right now that's like moving more intuitively than they're characteristically used to doing. But this is the masculine that's kind of learning how to like ride that energetic wave, if you will. While for feminine energy, this is the feminine energy holding those energetic standards. Not feeling like if this is the feminine energy that feels like in the pathwork of having to focus, they used to be worried about energetically disappointing those around them. This is the feminine energy that's almost saying to themselves, in order to move with prioritization, you have to be ready to energetically disappoint others, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. Abandonment wounds that are getting healed in a big way right now. Huge amount of healing right now around the abandonment wounds. So I know that this time period potentially feels like it's very vulnerable. But sometimes in these modalities of vulnerability is when we can really get to the unpacking that allows us to recognize something that we've been holding on to for a long time that feels like it's no longer energetically serving us. I see this happening in a tangible way, or I see it happening in a metaphysical, because there'd be a lot of decluttering that's happening right now, either in the tangible space or in the emotional or spiritual one. So, and a lot of this, I have to stress, a lot of this is the recognition that the reason that you may be ready to let, they're saying ready to let something go. So there may have been something that benefited you in the past, but being able to recognize that you've moved into a space or place where it's no longer needed or no longer necessary. This is a lot of the energy deep within divine union that is learning to become adaptable. And that adaptability point is because of the movement of the pride aside during that retrograde period. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep coming into divine union, this is the energetic healing that's happening. And a lot of it, this is an overflow. I just keep hearing a lot of energy coming into divine union saying, and I have to stress this, it's not the energy saying it's not my fault, as if the energy is saying that like this isn't somebody saying it's not my fault, like saying they're not willing to do the work. This is the energy that did the work, that made those changes within the self and are now suddenly having the light shown on the areas of the self that they over-calibrated, and the ability to see what was within their own ability to change versus what they experienced. This is the energy that is feeling an immense amount of healing coming through, because it's calibrating, it's showing them how far they have come by showing them karmically what was out of their control in the past to modify. When we move in union with energy that is in alignment with us, it recalibrates what we may have also been overly holding as a point of personal blame. So we see even now, this is why there's so much of this grief release I see for energy coming into divine union right now, because this is the energy that is observing what was their responsibility in the past, that they're changing now in the context of the present counterpart and seeing the result of that work. Or this is energy that is seeing something that they haven't changed, that they did not change, that they are continuing to do, but instead of experiencing a failure point on it, they're experiencing a breakthrough because they're seeing what would happen with energy that's in alignment with them, that is also giving them back what it is that they were putting forth in the first place. So I'm telling you even now, better in than out. A lot of this breakthrough that's occurring here. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, I just keep hearing, I'm not going back in there. I'm not going back in there. I'm not going back in there. You can go back in there. I'm not going back in there. And this is the breakthrough that the energy in separation's having. Because if these are circumstances or situations where there was a lot of emotionality that was being articulated, but no clarity as to like where something was, this is like a lot of energy looking at like a relationship being like, will you please get in the mystery box of this relationship with me? I've got a lot of feelings. Can you just get in this mystery box? And the energy being like, what are you, nuts? like what are you, nuts? Like, this is the energy going, no, I've already been down that road. This is the energy saying, articulate what the manifestation goal is, or you can take those emotions and you can go throw them out you can go put them wherever you want. Because this is the energy that's basically articulating and reaffirming in separation. Commitment is committing to a manifestation goal as you go forward together. It's talking towards it. It's building, it's walking it through. It's building towards that energetic dream. So for a lot of the energy here, if this is a spirit experience where someone is just divesting themselves of emotions, but not giving clarity as to what the pathwork is, this is the energy that's feeling like they're healing, because they're saying forward or bust. Like it's not up for debate. It's not up for rumination. This is the energy that's, again, the breakthrough that's occurring here is this is the energy in separation saying the ability to articulate on a manifestation goal is not a nice to have. It is a necessary requirement in order to facilitate pathwork going forward. State your business. What direction are you going? Where are you headed? Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Eight of Wands in combination with our Chariot. You see this binary that so much of the energy and separation is navigating now? Do you know where you're going? You either know where you're going or you're not. Articulate where you're going. Continuing to get clarification here. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with the Judgment in its reversal. And this is why even now, if these are circumstances, and this is what I warned you guys about. If these are circumstances or situations where someone asked someone for a manifestation goal, and then they waited, and then they waited, and then they waited, and then they clarified, and they were patient, and then finally they decided to move forward. They made the intentional choice of moving forward, and only at that moment of making the intentional choice of moving forward is someone bringing the manifestation goal towards them. This is the energy that's just kind of looking at it to a certain extent and saying, I don't think that's your manifestation goal. Because it has to do with the situation or circumstance, and this is why this is so difficult, because this is the energy that is recognizing how much it took to be able to have someone articulate what that direction is. So this is the energy that's saying that observational point, that's the energy saying this doesn't feel like this is not a hallelujah moment. This is the energy saying this is how much work it took to just get something simple from someone. This is the energy that's almost articulating that to someone and saying that the vacillation itself is the limitation. And it's different for masculine and feminine. For masculine, this is the masculine saying, you're putting me, I told you, this is the masculine looking towards feminine saying, you're putting me on an emotional roller coaster. You're not being conscientious of my emotions because you're too adaptable. You're too changeable. You're not being specific. You're making me kind of like that's that energy that feels like the masculine's like, I don't know how I'm going to emotionally feel on a day-to-day basis. For feminine, this is the feminine saying, I don't think that's actually your manifestation goal. This is the feminine going, that doesn't sound like an energy of you trying to go forward. This almost sounds like the manifestation goal that you're trying to utilize to call me back, right? And that's the feminine and the masculine kind of going through that and observing that in a way. And even in that modality of observing it is allowing for its own level or degree of breakthrough. Now, for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this is the gift of the present that provides new context to the past. There's a lot of energy right now that's receiving something coming into divine union, and their perception of the past has forever changed as a result of it. And this is the energy that recognizes that sometimes we have breakthroughs that we say to ourselves, now I can never go back. Now I can never go back. Because sometimes when you see something that you could not see before, this is the energy saying that those closure points, I told you, those are things that are getting closed up now, because that's the energetic equivalent of someone seeing something in the past that they could not see before based upon the clarification of the present, and that is the healing of the energetic wound of the past, because the present is creating that suture for it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy being creative. This is these are the energies taking pages from one another's books. Masculine being more adaptable and creative and being more like expansive than they typically would, breaking out of their comfort zone. Feminine contracting, getting very focused in a way that they typically don't. Very, very out of their comfort zone. Both of these energies taking new approaches and experiencing breakthroughs in the process. Continuing to get clarification between our Chariot in its reversal and our Five of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Cups in its reversal. And so a lot of this energy right now within divine union, the beauty that's happening and not taking something personally. If this is, I got to tell you right now, if this is energy, this is the mantra that becomes internal. Because if this is energy that just went through a retrograde period, and throughout that retrograde period, there was a lot of this pathwork of having to say to oneself, I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to take the stillness personally. I'm going to get productive. I'm not going to take the stillness personally. I'm going to get creative. I'm not going to take the stillness personally. I'm going to be compassionate. This is now the energy that's giving forth in the same way. That's saying that now to others. That's saying that now to others because they're embodying the energetic lesson here. So for masculine, this is the masculine that's looking towards situations and saying, don't worry, I didn't take it personally. I got expansive. And if there's, and this is why I'm telling you even now, if there's energy right now that is feeling frustrated because the masculine was not like in their patience became productive or became prolific, this is now the energy that's like working through like the oppositional modality of that. And that's why I told you this could be navigating some interpersonal issues here about some of that expansion point. While for feminine, if this is the feminine that's focusing and saying, no, don't worry, I wasn't stressed about not experiencing something in that expansion point. I'm very focused right now. I wasn't even like, I'm working on like this. This is all those energies that like, again, that distraction of those around them, seeing them moving in that way. This is why if energy around them is taking that change personally, that's a little bit of that energy. Like there's some energy right now within divine union that may be feeling some of that sense of saying like, whatever, like if nothing, it feels like, I see even now, if there's some energy around someone that feels like nothing one does is correct, this is how energy is backing away from circumstances or situations, because this is the energy that, again, I keep getting the message for the energy within divine union. The energy that's compassionate doesn't take things personally because they're all moving forward in this way. Like it's just that sense of identifying that sense, like when you're on a pathwork of purpose, it becomes harder to take things personally because you're not looking outside of the self for that sense of purpose. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, so much of this work that I'm seeing right now, like that's just the healing. This is just the energy that can't go back. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Cups in combination in its reversal, in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Look at this. We've got here our Lovers card. Love to see this card today. So do you see this harmony that's occurring here? Masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, deep within divine union. This is the energy that this is a lot of that breakthrough that potentially occurred during the retrograde cycle, because it's saying to me there's a lot of energetic contentment that is occurring here. This is what's allowing for the austerity that is occurring right now for so much of that energy within divine union. This is why the masculine is feeling more creatively willing to take, I don't want to say silly risks, but I want to say risk, like things that they would have, like, masculine energy deep within divine union is being a lot less conservative. Like there's almost a sense of play that I see is occurring right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. It's like a childlike side of the self. Feminine is willing to come through with a lot more of that that rigid, that hard side of the self, right? This is some of that platonic energy that we spoke about. Being able to show the facets of the self that one would typically be more inclined to feel like sensitivity in revealing, specifically because the energy is healing. For masculine, a lot of that work is vulnerable. It's the energy that's feeling that sense of like allowing their emotions to flow through the work that they're doing. For feminine, it's a softer side. For feminine, it's more of a hard side. It's more of a a rigidness, if you will. For masculine but again, this because these energies are finding the balance within the self. They're balancing the energetic equivalence within the self, and this is how it is reflective, both in the partnerships themselves, but also within the personhoods. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, so much of this work for the energy we see that is coming into divine union right now, this is the energetic equivalent of the breakthrough. And this is, I told you even now, this is energy saying, if I found what I see a lot of energy coming into divine union saying, I think I found what I'm looking for, and I'm devastated, right? Like, and I need to stress this. If you're feeling that, this is why, right? Because this is the energy that's like, why am I feeling that sense of like happiness, but also feeling that sink, right? Because this is the energy that is recognizing and healing in the process of coming into divine union. Now the energy's been pulled into the ICU, like out of the ICU, and now they can start like the recovery process. Like now the energy can finally come into that space where they can start to heal from some of the wounds that occurred prior to this point, right? This is the energy going, it's a bit like that, it's like the energy be like, it was crazy, so we see even now, there's a lot of that energetic unpacking that is occurring here. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation, I think that this is really beautiful for some of the energy in separation, because this is the energy that's not taking, this is the energy that's remembering in separation that not everybody wants the same things. This is the energy that's healing by not assuming that if someone doesn't articulate what they want in partnership, that means that you're moving in the same direction. This is why we see so much of this energy saying to themselves that the ability to articulate upon what that partnership is not conditional. It is necessary. And I just see a lot of this energy within, and this is also the energy, I got to say right now, this is also the energy like in separation, articulating and saying, if someone does not have the ability to articulate upon what their manifestation goals are, they probably don't want the same manifestation goals as the person that's willing to articulate them. I just see a lot of the energy saying that, like being like, it shouldn't be that difficult for energy that wants the same things, right? This is the energy that's just like in whatever facet that is. Because this is and for masculine, I told you, it's more emotional. For masculine, it's a masculine saying, I'm not going to take it personally if feminine does not desire the same things, because that's a lot of the masculine that's potentially looking at feminine and saying, I think the reason if I'm bringing forth a manifestation goal towards feminine, it's because like it almost feels like the masculine that's looking towards feminine and saying, I think that they want that with someone else from the past here. You know what I mean? Like there's almost a lot of that masculine that's like looking towards feminine and saying, if I'm offering that towards someone and they're reticent, like that's a lot of the masculine looking towards feminine. And I keep on seeing this, like a lot of masculine being like, that's a feminine that's energetically caught in the past too much. They're caught in some kind of energetic confusion point. They're not in that ability of identifying what it is that they want in order to see and go forward. While for a lot of the feminine energy in separation right now, I just see a lot of the feminine energy just feeling much more, this is why it brings so much fire out of the feminine. This is why we get so much of that Kundalini awakening that occurs in those moments, because this is the feminine saying, if masculine does not want to articulate feminine recognizes the vector where masculine could have a lot of emotionality for feminine, doesn't mean they want to build forward with them. Masculine can have a lot of desire for feminine, doesn't mean that they have a dream that they want to fulfill with the feminine. And this is the feminine looking towards masculine. And if that's occurring, saying, why can't you tell me what it is that you desire with me? Why can't you articulate it? Why can't you put it into words? And this is why we see the painful moment for feminine in that is the feminine saying, I can't tell if it's because you're too afraid to tell me, or if because I don't want the same things that you do. And that's why we see even now, these are the energies right now. I see a lot of energy potentially about to come into new connections, because this is the energy that is rejecting those connections that feel like they're not moving in that direction. And when we say no to something, that's when we move towards our yes. Continuing to get clarification here between our 5 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Judgment card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. 3 of Wands. And this is why I see even now there may be so many. This is still some of that. I'm telling you right now, don't get triggered. Don't you dare get triggered. Don't you dare get caught in some kind of like silly argument about stuff here. Because this is the energy. I literally see energy right now in separation saying we are having different conversations. Having straight up completely different conversations. Like I see someone trying to talk to someone else and being like, what are you like literally like one thing, like one person, something flying over their head, and the other person saying, what are you even talking about? Because this is that energetic equivalent that occurs that like I see even now. And this is why I'm seeing even now, if there's something, and this is where timing comes in, I'm telling you, because if this is the energy that they moved away, if they walked away from something, and only in the experience of seeing the result of not articulating towards a manifestation goal is someone bringing it forth, this is the energy that feels the profound frustration or the emotional overwhelm of feeling like someone is either toying with your emotions or that someone is saying something that they don't really energetically mean. Because I see even now, it's not the fact that there isn't some energy here that's hearing the thing that they desire to hear. It's the fact that they feel like that is what is happening. There's a difference between someone speaking authentically versus someone speaking or saying what it is that they feel that someone else desires to hear. And I see a lot of those uncomfortable conversations potentially occurring right now in some of those vectors in separation. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, so much of this work that I'm seeing right now coming into divine union, this is the closing out of the energetic cycles of the past. This is more of that I can never go back. Because in the moment of experiencing something from a place of authenticity that doesn't make you question it, something that is so apparent that you don't have to question it, you cannot go back. This is energy that is now grieving because they're looking at something going, I can't go back to that. That was this is the energy that's getting all the clarity that they need. They're getting all the closure that they need in the moment of moving towards something that doesn't make them question. It's just very clear, right? So even here we see that so much of that clarity is coming through. These are like, I've told you, things that are getting sutured up, doors that are energetically like things that are healing. And this is the energy that's like, closing the book on some things right now and going, okay, that's no longer open-ended. I've got all the clarity I need. I just found it, like, this is the clarity that I found going forward, right? And that in itself, like, it's a breakthrough, but it's also can be very emotionally overwhelming because this is a lot of energy that's like coming into that space of saying like, I'm ready to like, move forward in that way. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, within divine union, this is a little bit of that unstoppable force energy that we're seeing within divine union right now. There's just so much of this energy within divine union that I just kind of see to a certain extent. And this is the only hurdle I see here. And this is why I have to stress this. This is the energy within divine union is not taking things personally. If someone around them is taking the energy, like of the energy within divine union personally, in a time that the feminine, like the masculine and feminine both got prolific and productive during spaces of stagnancy, this is the energy that feels like it's that I want to say that there's some energy within divine union that is potentially closing out some cycles of interpersonal cycles where it feels like nothing one can do is ever energetically correct, because that's that modality of someone being like, if there was stagnancy that was occurring during the retrograde that allowed for expansion, and now someone is taking those expansion points personally, you can see even here that this is the energy being like, huh? Like confused, because that's that modality of saying like seeing something and being like, oh, there's just like no way to go forward that feels like it's productive. So we see even now, like, but this is almost like that's in a way there's that in itself. I'm seeing is some kind of point of catharsis for the energy deep within divine union, because the ability to observe circumstances or situations where it feels like nothing you energetically do is the correct thing, like that in itself creates its own form of closure. Continuing to get clarification between our Judgment card in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess in its reversal. So I told you, a little bit of a different impact that's occurring right now for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union. For masculine energy, I told you a lot of this prolificness is requiring or creating this like emotional overwhelm, if you will. We just see that so much of this energy here is masculine kind of navigating, allowing themselves to have that expression or that expansion of feeling. And some of it, I think that so much of what I'm seeing here, it's requiring, these are energy, like, how do I explain this in a way that makes the most sense? What I'm really seeing here with the masculine is this like navigating, feeling that security of the emotions to a certain extent is such that like I almost see that this is like the masculine that's like looking for places to put it. Like I'm just seeing like this is what I mean about so much of that proliferation, if you will, because I just see that so much of this energy, the masculine right now, navigating the emotional space that's coming through outside of this retrograde period. It's like the masculine that's feeling the energetic safety in feeling their full emotional nature, that's like giving the masculine space to like learn how to calibrate that, right? And that's why I mean like this is the masculine looking for places to put that emotionality. For feminine, because that's the masculine that's like finding healthy avenues to put those emotions. For feminine, this like working towards focusing is helping the feminine when they question themselves, right? This isn't the feminine that's looking outside of themselves for insight. This is the feminine that's drilling deeper within the self, getting more focused, focusing on what those priorities are. So we see even here both of these energies. It's not that this period is easy. They're doing that work, but they're challenging themselves in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy that is healing by recognizing, and this is why so much of this healing may be feeling difficult right now, because if these are energies that really put a lot of focus on what they could change going forward from experiences of the past, some of this work that we're seeing that's happening for coming into divine union is recalibrating places that you may have overcompensated. I'm just seeing it even here. There are spaces and places where, again, feminine may have overly internalized something that was occurring, that coming into divine union now, they're now recognizing and saying to themselves, that wasn't my fault. And I have evidence in it via the energetic counterpart wherein something is now working. While for masculine, a lot of that is the same. If this is masculine that's emotionally opening up to feminine, and feminine isn't, if feminine is feeling the security and stability of navigating masculine in a space where they're able to articulate upon the emotions instead of reacting to them, both of these energies are healing in profound ways, and they're looking back at past counterpart energies, and they're recognizing what was their responsibility, but more importantly, what was not their responsibility, but they may have felt was their responsibility. So we see even now, this is some of that closure point, because this is the energy that's identifying and really kind of coming into balance between what they felt they could actually change versus what they're now accepting was outside of their own purview to change in another. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, these two energetic equivalents are very close to potentially meeting one another, and you can see how they're feeling in the process. Masculine moving away from something where they may be feeling like it's too emotionally confusing. If there's something here where masculine feels like feminine can't focus or stay focused on their manifestation goals, this is the masculine energy saying, like, this is giving some kind of identification that this is a roller coaster. And this is the masculine saying, I don't want to be in an energetic connection with a feminine that requires me to be on an emotional roller coaster, right? While for feminine, if this is femasculine that's not able to articulate or build upon or give the manifestation goal, but is articulating their feelings, this is feminine saying, I recognize that a masculine can have all the feelings for me, but they don't want to build with me. And this is a lot of the feminine feeling more of that frustration, because this is the feminine saying, I'm not an object in masculine's life. I'm desiring to build into a counterpart scenario. So we see even now, like, do you see this? Like, these energies are recognizing what's not for them in order to facilitate moving towards what is. Continuing to get clarification between our Lover's card in combination with our Three of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Three of Pentacles in its upright. Sometimes the way we build towards the things that we decide we need is by recognizing what we don't need. So a lot of this austerity that we see is occurring right now due to this Virgo season coming through has to do with the recognition of what is necessary in order to build a strong foundation of partnership. So we see even now that there's a lot of this energy in separation that's departing from a situation or circumstance where they may be feeling like they were getting a lot of emotional excess. But that the reason that it feels like emotional excess is because emotions feel like they are excessive when it feels like they're hiding the lack of stability, right? Like, you know, when you think about that, like the security, the stability comes through the identification of what something is and what you're building towards. The emotions are the decorations around it. The emotions are the beauty. The emotions are all of the adornments. So for a lot of this energy and separation, a lot of it may feel like there was something that someone was trying to build with them that was just like, it was just the facade. It was just the emotions, but there wasn't the structure. There wasn't the stability there. And so we see this even here. This is the energy, like in separation, saying, I want, like, it doesn't require one or the other. This is the energy that says, I need both. I need both the stability of the energetic connection, the identification of what that is, with the adornment of the emotionality, right? So this is that energy that's recognizing that and saying that that balance is not something that is like negotiable. This is the energy saying it's fundamental. So this is a lot of energy in separation that's feeling very, 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 very fundamental as they move towards new energetic connections. And those fundamental aspects, like this is the refinement of them that they're setting and utilizing as they go forward from this time. Masculine and feminine energy, this is the building of the wall brick by brick in relationality to the trust that you're building with one another. And every day it gets stronger. And every day that wall of trust that you're building with one another is the wall of trust closing up any of those past experiences wherein that trust was not built brick by brick. Like this is the wall of trust that you're building around the partnership, because you're recognizing that that is the energy saying every day, this is where my priority is. This is what's important to me. You are who I want. You are who I desire. And every day that you do that, you're building that wall up towards the past, because that's that modality of saying, I'm seeing that becoming foundational in spaces or places of the past that may have been ephemeral. Continuing to get clarification for the energy deep within divine union right now. Focus, focus, focus. I just see a lot of this energy working right now. And this is the energy that's laying new foundations for themselves, setting new energetic standards. A lot of that work that we navigated coming through that Mercury retrograde, it's helping identify what feels necessary versus what feels extraneous. And so we see even now both of those energies utilizing that as the pathwork going forward to set the new energetic standards. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Wands in its reversal and our High Priestess in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Swords in its upright. And this is the beauty of the, and here's some of that retrograde shadow period. I know it's not easy. I know that there's a lot of observations or recollections of the past that are occurring right now. But the ability to move forward, and I see it even here, like a lot of the energy deep within divine union. It feels like the stability that you're creating in the present is creating new context for the past. Like I just keep seeing this here. This is a lot of energy that is, I want to say, working through, like building into that path work of recognizing and identifying. And I want to say this is doubling down. This is the energy that, like, again, for feminine, this is maintaining that energetic focus, even in the wake of feeling some of those experiences from the past reemerging or coming to the surface to a certain extent. Because even in that experience, not allowing those, like, I want to say those echoes of the past to divert your focus. Like a lot, I just keep seeing that there's a lot of this energy here that is like reaffirming their own energetic commitment by like just looking at the past and saying, well, this is what I'm going to do in the present to change that, right? While for masculine, a lot of this is the masculine potentially looking at these areas or spaces in the past wherein they felt like they couldn't be their most authentic version of self. This is more of that masculine that's building that sense of like trusting their own emotions. And here, like, this is what I mean. Like, this is beautiful because it says to me, it's a reflection of the past that's reaffirming the energetic commitment going forward. And I see that occurring not just for the energy deep within divine union, but also for the energy coming into divine union. And that's happening like day by day by day. Like this is very strong, but it's happening very quickly. And it's happening, the difference is for the energy coming into divine union, it's happening at the same time, which is why, again, it feels affirming, but it also feels collapsing because this is the energy that's feeling the affirmation of what they're building, and they're recognizing the past is closing out in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, this is energy that feels like, in a way, something that they're navigating feels very similar to something that they experienced in the past. And this is the gift of the past, the past experience that shines a light on the present that now guides the way in not repeating the past cycle. Final card for today's spread between our Three of Pentacles in combination with our Five of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Wands in its upright. Progress, planning, purpose, perseverance. This is a lot of energy and separation that is saying manifestation, goal, or bust. Like they're just walking forward. They're saying manifestation, goal, or bust. And a lot of this energy here, I want to say the gift that's occurring in some of these modalities right now is specifically and particularly that feeling, and I have to stress this here. I keep seeing this. I feel like there's a lot of energy that went through some bad stuff in the past, and this is the energy that's like, it's not like, I can see the energy going, look, I'm not saying I ever wanted to go through it, but the ability to feel like something negative that you navigated in the past that just helped you avoid or navigate a situation with greater easement. Like there's a little bit of this energy being like, well, at least something productive came of it. like this is the energy going, at least something productive came of it, because this is the energy that's looking at the past and going, wow, that was a really good lesson that person taught me. Thanks for the lesson. Yay. While for masculine, but also I want to say these are also energies that are very much gearing up to potentially come into union with new energetic connections right now. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this card's been coming up like hotcakes. There's a lot of energy that's like, I'm in my manifestation. Like, this is what we're effectively seeing right now. This is the dawning realization that energy, and this sometimes happens. You think here's the funny thing. You think you enter your manifestation, you go, oh, look, my manifestation. Sometimes you take a minute, you go, oh, this is the manifestation, right? This is the energy that's looking around and going, this is the manifestation. Like, that ability of identifying that there's some energy that's recognizing, and they're feeling that elation and devastation is the hallmark sign of someone saying, I've arrived there, it's happening. Because this is the energy that recognizes that the ability to perceive the past in a different way is like, yeah, yeah, and even here we see that that's the energy. It's not that they've moved towards a manifestation goal, but the ability to feel like you are harmonized and you share the same manifestation goal with someone, and you're building into that network of trust with them. That's the manifestation, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, so much of this energy that I'm recognizing here, this is planning. This is patience and perseverance. This is a lot of energy right now that's navigating those spaces and places and just telling one another, keep going. Don't get distracted, keep going. For masculine, it's continuing to kind of plant those seeds. For feminine, it's really focusing and staying focused. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, balance, justice card in its upright. So a lot of this work that we're seeing right now, it's trying to maintain a point of balance right now. Like I told you, a lot of this work that the energy within divine union is doing right now is not in overgiving and not in overworking, because I see that so much of that energy within divine union, like there's no limitation is what I'm seeing in terms of the direction that you're moving towards. So finding what feels like it's balance, finding what feels like it is creating that sense of energetic balance here. Like even here we see that some of this, I want to say some of this shedding that I see is occurring right now. Refining of the manifestation goals, really focusing, feminine really focusing, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine being expansive. These energies right now are working really fastidiously to maintain that energetic balance. But that energetic balance isn't found outside of the self, it's found within. While for masculine and feminine energy, and they're like they're building that with one another. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, I gotta say, this is why sometimes coming into divine union can feel energetically bittersweet. Because if these were situations or scenarios where in the past felt open-ended because there was some kind of feeling or expectation of someone being able to make those, like take those lessons forward, like again, that ability of identifying that's painful. That's why we see even now this energy is like falling in love and going through a mourning process, because this is the expansion of the manifestation, but also the sense of grief or mourning in everything that it took to be able to move towards it. And even in that modality, there's energy that is recalibrating their experiences based upon where they find themselves in the present, and they're making new room in their heart in order to find those spaces and places to put those things. While for masculine and feminine energy, in separation, this is the energy that's feeling that anxiety of saying to themselves, what if I don't find my manifestation goal? Like this is that small voice that says, you better take what this is. I know that there isn't clarity there, but better, like there's some kind of energy I feel like is around some of the energy in separation saying, wouldn't this be better than nothing? Like, wouldn't this be better? Like, shouldn't you just, come into a point of satisfaction? Is it asking for too much here? And this is a lot of the energy that's within the self that's saying like, no. Like this is a lot of the energy in separation that feels like that's like the art, like this is almost like the energy of the past. This is like having an argument with the past, and the past going, like, are you sure you're going in the right direction? Are you sure? You sure you don't know what's you don't know what's down there. You sure you want to go that way? So we see even now that so much of that energy navigating that That sense of balance within is the sense of the self saying, yeah, I know what it is that I need. I know what it is that I want. I know what it is that's for me. And that's that sense of coming into balance within the self, because this is the energy that is moving towards their manifestation goals by being able to articulate the reasons that they're moving, so is how we refine them. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, couple of updates before we move into personal readings. Our next tarot class is this Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our tarot journey with an exploration into the Hierophant card. If you would like to become a part of that class program, head over to my Substack, gracestrega.substack.com. A paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access to our live classes each month. That is your ticket. You will also have access to the course materials and recordings for all of our previous classes. So you still got a few days to catch up if you'd like to catch up. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we are learning. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber, please be sure to follow me on my Substack, because that's where I post my updates. I post the podcast of this reading. I post a weekly newsletter, which will let you know about my live schedule and any live events that I'm holding. You'll also get notified as to who's winning our giveaways. Speaking of giveaways, we have pulled the winner for our August giveaway. I will be announcing it this weekend in our newsletter. We are now doing our September giveaway. If you would like to win a free tarot reading with me, head over to the link tree in my bio. There's a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you want to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, I give away a free tarot reading, not only to the person who wins, but also to the person who referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck in winning this month. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of Life Path readings, I now offer mentorship courses. Those can be purchased on an individual level or as a series of 4 throughout the course of a month, 45 minutes apiece. They can be focused on whatever area of spirituality or your own journey that you are interested in investigating. I take a very limited number of students for that reason. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to be offering weekly tarot insight packages. Those are a package of 4 30-minute readings, 1 per week over the span of a month, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.